Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. It's wonderful to have you here again. Wherever you may be listening from, maybe it's night where you are. The lights are low, your phone screen dimmed, the world quiet and still. Maybe you've had a long day, your mind full, your body tired, your thoughts running faster than you wish they would. But you've chosen to be here, to rest, to listen, and to drift gently towards sleep, and that choice already means you're slowing down tonight. We're drifting far beyond the world we know, beyond clouds and sky, beyond planets and stars, into the quiet vastness of the universe itself. Tonight's story is called Galaxies Forming in the Still of Space, and it's one of the most peaceful journeys we can take together. We'll explore how the first galaxies came to life, how silence gave way to light, how clouds of dust turned into radiant clusters of stars, and how, in the cold emptiness of space, the universe quietly began to build its own heartbeat. But don't worry, you don't need to remember any of this. You don't need to stay awake to follow every word. This isn't a lecture, it's a lullaby made of science, a soft exploration for your drifting mind, something for your thoughts to rest against while your body unwinds. You might notice your breathing beginning to slow, the weight of the day starting to melt away, your shoulders releasing just a little more with every breath, your eyelids growing heavier, your mind beginning to float. That's perfectly okay. You're safe here. You're exactly where you need to be. Before we begin, take a moment to find the most comfortable position you can. Let your pillow cradle your head. Let the blanket rest gently against your skin. If there's any tension hiding somewhere in your neck, your jaw, your chest, let it soften. And let this next breath be slower than the one before. Now, as you settle in, I'd love to know where you're listening from tonight. Are you in a city that never truly sleeps? Somewhere with streetlights flickering outside your window? Or maybe you're in a quiet room far from everything, where only the soft hum of the night keeps you company. Wherever you are, you're not alone. Thousands of others are listening right now too, each of us connected by curiosity, by the shared wish for calm, by the wonder of learning something beautiful before sleep. So, if your mind starts to wander, let it. If you drift in and out of the story, that's exactly how it's meant to be. Because the universe moves slowly, quietly, gracefully, and tonight, we'll move with it. Close your eyes. Feel the rhythm of your breathing. In and out with every breath. Imagine yourself floating farther from Earth, the air around you thinning, the stars growing brighter, the silence deepening, until you're surrounded by nothing but soft, endless space. We're about to visit a time long before our world existed, before stars, before galaxies, before light itself. A time when the universe was only darkness, a gentle, quiet darkness filled with possibility. So, take another deep breath. Let your mind rest on the edge of that darkness, and as you breathe out, let go of your thoughts. Let go of your worries, and let's begin our journey into the still of space, where galaxies are born in silence. Have you ever wondered what it must have felt like if the universe could feel? In that quiet moment before the very first light appeared, imagine a cosmos without color, without shape, without even the faintest glimmer of a star. Only an infinite calm, a darkness not of fear, but of waiting. For hundreds of millions of years after the Big Bang, The universe simply rested, an ocean of gentle energy and invisible matter, expanding, cooling, breathing silently into existence. And then, somewhere within that stillness, the first spark was born. Picture yourself floating there, in that endless, calm, weightless, timeless, surrounded by a velvet darkness so pure that even your thoughts seem to slow. There's no sound, no direction, only the soft hum of space expanding around you. You can feel the fabric of the universe stretching, not rushing, but flowing like breath, each moment. A little more room for possibility. Tiny particles drift by, like faint dust motes in a sunbeam that hasn't yet appeared. They drift, they gather, drawn together by something gentle but unstoppable, gravity. Slowly, over eons, clouds of hydrogen begin to form. They swirl, they fold into themselves, becoming denser, warmer, brighter, until, at last, they ignite. That was the moment the universe opened its eyes, the moment of the first light. The first stars flared into being, small, fierce, short-lived giants. They burned hotter and brighter than almost anything that would come after. Their light pierced the cosmic darkness for the first time, and suddenly the universe was no longer asleep. It was glowing, softly, quietly, beautifully. These early stars, called population 3 stars, were nothing like our sun. They were immense, hundreds of times more massive, and their lives were brief, just a few million years. Yet, in those short lives, they created everything. They forged the first heavier elements: carbon, oxygen, iron, the building blocks of planets, oceans, and life. When they finally exploded as supernova, they scattered those elements across the void, seeding the darkness with stardust, the same dust that one day would become us. Did you know that when you breathe, almost every atom in your body was once inside a star? The calcium in your bones, the oxygen in your lungs, even the iron in your blood, all born from the heart of dying stars. It means that in some quiet, cosmic way, you carry the memory of that first light inside you. As the universe continued to expand, those star-born elements gathered again. Drawn by gravity's patient pull, they formed new generations of stars, smaller, longer-lived around them. The first galaxies began to take shape. Imagine vast spirals of light emerging slowly from the void, each one a glowing island of billions of stars, each one breathing, evolving, shining. And within those galaxies, the slow rhythm of cosmic creation continued. Some galaxies danced together, pulled close by their mutual attraction, their stars swirling and merging like gentle tides. Others drifted apart, quiet and solitary, each movement part of the universe's grand choreography, a dance too slow for human eyes to see. And yet, here we are able to look back across billions of years, to watch that first light still shining, carried to us by the patient journey of photons that have traveled across time itself. If you could reach out and touch that light, it would be older than the earth, older than the sun, older than anything we can truly imagine, and yet it's here, softly brushing your eyes whenever you look at the night sky. Each star you see tonight is a whisper of that original glow, a gentle reminder that creation and stillness are not opposites. They are partners, just as rest and thought, silence and story are partners within you. It's comforting, isn't it, to think that the universe, for all its vastness and mystery, grew from something so quiet, no explosion of chaos, no sudden roar, but a long, patient unfolding, a breath expanding into eternity. Maybe that's why we sleep, too. To mirror the universe in its beginning, to let our thoughts scatter and reform in the dark, to create new light within our own inner galaxies. Maybe, when we dream, we are simply remembering that first moment of creation, when everything was both nothing and everything at once. So, as you rest here, let yourself imagine the glow of that first light. See it flickering in the distance, see it growing stronger, filling the cosmic sea with warmth, and feel it inside your chest. That same light, that same rhythm, that same peace, because you are part of that story. You always have been. Now, as we drift forward, the universe is beginning to change again. The first stars have lived and died, their light fading, their dust spreading. The cosmos prepares to build something new, galaxies that will shape the future, worlds that will someday host life. And in the next part of our journey, we'll explore how those galaxies began to take form, quietly, gracefully, in the stillness of space. So breathe in once more, let your mind drift a little farther, and follow the light as it leads us deeper into the heart of the forming galaxies, where the universe continues to dream. Have you ever wondered how something as vast and intricate as a galaxy comes into being? How from the silence of space, order emerges, structure, symmetry, beauty. How billions of stars find one another, as if drawn by some ancient memory. How, in a universe that was once only gas and darkness, patterns began to form, quiet spirals, glowing hearts, rivers of light. It's strange, isn't it? We think of the universe as chaos, and yet, hidden inside that chaos is rhythm, a pattern so slow, so grand, that to us it feels eternal, but to the cosmos, it is simply the steady breathing of existence. Picture yourself floating now, deeper into that early universe. The first stars have lived their short, brilliant lives. They have burned, they have exploded, they have returned their light to the void, and their ashes, the dust of creation, have spread far and wide. Clouds of gas and starlight swirl through the emptiness, and in those clouds, gravity begins its quiet work again. Imagine vast rivers of matter flowing like invisible currents, each one stretching for millions of light years. They weave through the cosmic dark like delicate filaments of silk. This is what scientists call the cosmic web, a network connecting all that will ever exist. Every star, every planet, born along those shimmering lines of gravity within these filaments. Clouds of hydrogen grow denser. They fall together, pulled inward by their own mass, like raindrops gathering on the edge of a leaf. Tiny at first, then heavier, until they fall, only here. The falling takes hundreds of millions of years, and what forms is not a raindrop, but a galaxy, one after another. These young galaxies flicker into being, small at first, irregular, scattered, each one like a spark against the dark. Some glow red, their light stretched and softened by distance. Others blaze blue, fierce and new. Each galaxy spinning slowly, finding its balance, learning the art of motion. Did you know that galaxies are born hungry? They feed on the gas that surrounds them, drawing it inward, spinning it faster, turning chaos into rhythm. They pull in smaller galaxies, they merge, they grow, Their collisions are not violent, but graceful, slow, unfolding across billions of years. When galaxies meet, their stars rarely collide. They simply pass through one another, dancing, weaving, reshaping, until what was once two becomes one. And deep within the heart of every great galaxy, something even more mysterious awakens. A supermassive black hole, silent, invisible, patient. It does not destroy, it organizes. Its gravity anchors the galaxy around it, holding billions of stars in its gentle grasp. Its pull shapes the rhythm of the galaxy's rotation. It is, in a sense, the galaxy's heartbeat. Scientists still don't know exactly how these black holes formed so early. Some believe they grew from the collapse of the first giant stars. Others think they were born directly from dense pockets of gas. But what they agree on is this: without them, galaxies might never have found their shape. They might have remained scattered, drifting, lost in the dark. Imagine watching one of these galaxies being born, a swirl of light expanding in slow motion, stars orbiting a glowing core, nebulae, clouds of gas and dust, painting soft colors through the black, blue for new stars, red for dying ones, and within the haze, new suns still forming, planets coalescing around them, whole systems being born from the smallest flecks of dust. Somewhere within that swirl, there might be a star, much like our sun will one day be, quiet, steady, nurturing, its planets still molten, their air thick and strange, but in time, even they will cool. And perhaps, far in the future, one of them will hold oceans, wind, life, and dreams. The universe, at this moment, is no longer sleeping. It is fully awake, alive with light, soundless yet full of energy. Everywhere, galaxies are forming, merging, evolving, billions of them, scattered like glowing islands across an endless sea, each one unique, each one carrying the story of countless stars. And still, the darkness between them stretches vast and eternal, a reminder that even creation needs stillness, that growth is born from calm. If you look up at the night sky, every pinpoint of light you see belongs to one of those ancient galaxies. Their glow has traveled across unimaginable distances to reach you. Each photon, a tiny messenger from the past, a traveler that has crossed the emptiness to brush your eyes tonight. When you gaze at the stars, you are literally seeing back in time, back to those first galactic dreams, to the moment when the universe was learning how to build itself. It's humbling, isn't it, to know that the universe's story and ours are not separate, that the matter in your body, the calcium, the carbon, the iron was forged in one of those galaxies long ago. You are, in every sense, a fragment of the stars. You are not simply in the universe. You are the universe, thinking about itself, breathing, resting, wondering. And maybe that's why stories like this feel so peaceful, because when you listen to them, some ancient part of you remembers the quiet birth of light, remembers the rhythm of galaxies forming, remembers the slow, eternal motion that lives in everything. It reminds you that stillness and growth coexist, that rest and creation are two sides of the same breath. Just as the galaxies turn, so do our lives, expanding, contracting, learning, glowing. So now, as your body relaxes a little deeper and your thoughts drift farther into the quiet, imagine yourself floating gently through a galaxy's spiral arms. Stars drift past you like lanterns, their light soft and warm against your skin. Nebulae shimmer in violet and silver, and the great dark between them hums with quiet energy. You move slowly, effortlessly, weightless among the stars, each one beating softly, like the rhythm of a calm heart. You are part of this motion, not separate from it. The same physical laws that shape galaxies shape you. The same atoms that glow in distant stars glow inside you now. You are made of cosmic memory, of light, dust, and infinite calm. And as we move toward the next chapter of this journey, the galaxies begin to settle, their shapes defined, their stars in orbit. The universe enters a gentler rhythm, one that will give rise to clusters, to galaxies like our own, and eventually to a tiny blue planet spinning quietly in the arms of the Milky Way. But that's a story for another night. For now, breathe deeply. Let the light of 1,000 galaxies flicker softly behind your eyes. Let the quiet hum of creation cradle your thoughts, and as your breath slows, know that you are resting within the same peace that once filled the cosmos, the same stillness that gave birth to everything, including you. So drift now, deeper, slower, quieter, and let the universe keep turning as you fall gently into sleep. Have you ever wondered what happens when two galaxies meet? When two great islands of light, each holding billions of stars, each containing worlds beyond imagination, drift slowly toward one another through the stillness of space. Do they crash? Do they shatter? Or do they dance? It might surprise you to know that galaxies don't collide like solid things. They are vast, mostly empty. They're stars, separated by distances so large that even when two galaxies merge, the stars themselves almost never touch. Instead, they pass through one another like ghosts in a silent ballet, their gravity weaving new patterns, their shapes twisting and folding, as if the universe itself is composing a slow, endless symphony. Now imagine yourself floating in that expanse, a quiet observer, adrift between two galaxies as they begin to approach. You see them faint smudges of light at first, their spiral arms stretching like fingertips reaching through the dark. Slowly, over millions of years, they draw closer, the pull of gravity growing stronger, the space between them glowing with the light of distorted stars, like ribbons of gold unraveling in slow motion. There is no sound in this dance, yet you can almost feel it, the tension, the grace, the beauty of slow creation. Each galaxy bends and curves, their arms stretching outward like dancers twirling through eternity. Some stars are flung into space, tiny luminous travelers cast free into the void. Others are drawn toward new homes, forming vast bridges of light, connecting one galaxy to another. A new shape begins to emerge, not destruction, but transformation. A fusion of two great cosmic beings becoming one. Did you know that this very thing will one day happen to us? Our home galaxy, the Milky Way, is slowly moving toward its nearest large neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy. They are on a slow, silent collision course, drifting closer by about 110 kilometers per second. But don't worry, it won't happen for another 4 billion years. When it does, the night sky will be filled with breathtaking beauty. Andromeda will grow larger and brighter each night, until it fills the heavens, a shimmering halo stretching from horizon to horizon. Our stars will swirl together, our galaxies will merge, and from their union, a new, larger galaxy will be born. Astronomers already call it a name as gentle as the process itself. You might imagine this collision as chaotic, but in truth, it is more like a cosmic waltz. Each galaxy moves according to gravity's rhythm, stars following graceful arcs, gas clouds colliding and igniting in bursts of new light, new stars being born from the energy of the merger. It is a rebirth, a creation born from motion, proof that even in the universe, endings and beginnings are the same thing. If you could watch this dance unfold, not in human time, but in cosmic time, you'd see the galaxies swirl and stretch, their spiral arms intertwining like silk scarves floating in water. You'd see clusters of stars drawn together, vast waves of starlight rippling through the dark, and then, slowly, a new balance, a new shape forming from the chaos. A glowing, elliptical galaxy shining softly in the aftermath of transformation. There's something comforting about that, isn't there? To know that even when galaxies collide, the result is not destruction, but evolution. It mirrors our own lives. How change, though sometimes overwhelming, often leads to something greater, something whole, just as two galaxies merge to form a single new one. So do we merge with the moments of our lives, each experience, each memory, folding into the spiral arms of who we become now. Picture yourself drifting between those galaxies. As they twist and turn around you, the light, soft, silver, flowing like mist across a vast black canvas, stars drift past slowly, their light brushing your skin like gentle wind. Everywhere, you feel motion, but it's peaceful, unhurried. This is the rhythm of the cosmos, the slow heartbeat of eternity. Did you know that collisions like these often ignite waves of new creation? When gas clouds meet, they compress, and in that compression, new stars are born. Sometimes entire generations of suns appear bright, hot young stars lighting up their newborn galaxies. Even as old stars fade, new ones rise, each cycle a reminder that nothing in the universe truly ends. It only transforms. It only moves into another state of being. Think of it, the light from these galactic dances can travel for billions of years, and one day reach our tiny planet, photons, born in the chaos of merging galaxies, arrive here as calm starlight, as the glow you see when you gaze up at night. That light is a message, a story written across time, a reminder that even in change, there is beauty, even in chaos, there is peace. And maybe that's why this story feels familiar, because deep inside you, your own atoms have danced before. They were once part of other stars, other galaxies. They have merged and separated countless times, until finally they came together in the form that is you. So when you hear of galaxies colliding, you are hearing the echo of your own creation. You are made of that same cosmic rhythm, that same dance of light and gravity. And every heartbeat you feel tonight is just one tiny echo of the grand cosmic pulse that shapes everything. Now, let your body sink a little deeper into rest, your muscles softening, your breathing slowing. Imagine the galaxies continuing their motion around you, silent and graceful, their light growing fainter as you drift farther from them. They spiral together one last time, a final, beautiful motion, and then settle a single glowing shape, a new home for countless stars. In the distance, other galaxies shimmer, some merging, some alone, each part of the great cosmic web, a network of light and silence stretching forever. The universe is still dancing, still moving, still creating, and you are part of that creation, as vital and as timeless as any star. As you breathe now, feel the rhythm of that motion within you, the calm pulse of existence, the slow harmony of being. You are floating, resting, wrapped in the quiet glow of galaxies, and as the dance fades, the universe exhales, softly, endlessly, and carries you deeper into peace. And soon, as we move forward in our journey, we'll drift beyond these merging galaxies, toward a time when the universe began to shape not only stars, but the raw materials of life itself. We'll explore the chemistry of creation, the cosmic recipes written in light and dust. But for now, let your thoughts dissolve into the stars and sleep beneath the silent waltz of galaxies, their glow eternal, their rhythm unbroken, their beauty infinite. Have you ever wondered what you're truly made of? Not just skin and bone, but the deeper stuff, the quiet matter beneath thought itself, the atoms that form you, the dust that shines inside your cells. Where did it all come from, and how did lifeless elements learn to sing as you? The galaxies we left behind are still spinning, their light fading softly behind us, and ahead lies a darker, quieter space, a place where creation becomes chemistry, a workshop hidden in the silence between stars. It is here that the universe begins its slowest, most delicate work, the crafting of life's ingredients. Picture yourself drifting through a vast nebula, a cloud of starlight and dust. It shimmers in pinks and blues, its edges glowing faintly like the breath of a sleeping giant. The air, if it could be called that, is filled with hydrogen and helium, but scattered within are the ashes of older stars, carbon, oxygen, silicon, nitrogen, the quiet alphabet of everything that will one day breathe. Every grain of dust around you once belonged to something that burned, to a sun that lived, died, and gave its body back to the cosmos. Did you know that inside the belly of every dying star, new elements are born? When a star reaches the end of its life, it collapses and then explodes, a supernova. For a few shining seconds, it becomes brighter than entire galaxies. And in that moment of brilliance, the unimaginable heat and pressure fuse simple atoms into complex ones. Gold, iron, calcium, carbon elements that had never existed before flash into being. And when the explosion fades, those atoms drift out into the universe, carried by invisible winds of radiation and time. They wander alone at first, until gravity finds them, gathers them, folds them into new clouds, and from those clouds, new stars, new worlds, new beginnings. You are traveling now through one of those ancient clouds. Each speck of dust, a fragment of something older, each particle humming with memory. The temperature is cold, near absolute zero, but not lifeless, because within that cold, molecules begin to form. Hydrogen meets oxygen to make water vapor. Carbon binds with nitrogen, with sulfur, slowly creating organic molecules. Simple at first, methanol, ammonia, formaldehyde. Tiny ghosts of chemistry that one day will become the seeds Scientists have detected these molecules in the clouds between stars. They drift for millions of years, frozen, patient, waiting for a chance to land. Perhaps on a young planet, perhaps on an icy comet that will carry them across the void. Imagine them, these microscopic travelers, sleeping in the dark, waiting for warmth, waiting for oceans, waiting for the spark that will let them begin again. And maybe, as you listen now, you're breathing soft and slow. You can feel that quiet persistence, that ancient patience that once floated through the dark. Because inside you are those same atoms, that same carbon, that same oxygen. They've traveled through billions of years, through explosions, through collisions, through galaxies long vanished, only to find themselves here, now, in the rhythm of your pulse, in the warmth of your breath. It's humbling, isn't it, to realize that your body is older than the earth itself, that the atoms in your eyes once glowed in the hearts of distant suns, that the dust beneath your fingernails once drifted through a nebula, waiting to become part of something alive. Now, picture the young universe again. The galaxies have matured, stars are burning steadily. Planets are forming in circles around them, each world gathering dust and ice, some too hot, some too cold. But here and there, a perfect balance, a distance from the star that allows liquid water, a fragile, narrow zone scientists call the Goldilocks region, not too hot, not too cold, the gentle cradle where chemistry can breathe. It is here, in those oceans, that stardust finds its voice. Molecules drift together, colliding softly, forming longer and more complex chains, some able to store information, some able to copy themselves, and somewhere, after countless failed attempts, something miraculous happens. A molecule learns how to preserve itself, how to protect its shape, how to endure. It is not yet alive, but it is the whisper of life, the first note in the long song of evolution. Think of it, all the stars that burned and died, all the dust that wandered, all the time that passed, just to give the universe a way to look back at itself, through eyes that can see, through minds that can wonder. Did you know that when you look at the Milky Way tonight, you are seeing the same ingredients that built you? Every photon, every atom, every trace of light is a reminder that life is simply the universe remembering itself. A pattern repeated in infinite forms, from the smallest cell to the largest galaxy. Everything is connected, not metaphorically, but physically. Your body made of the same matter that fills the stars you wish upon. Let that thought settle in your chest like a warm, slow heartbeat. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos in human form. A brief arrangement of stardust that can feel, that can dream, that can rest. Now the nebula begins to fade. The light grows dimmer. The dust has found its homes in planets, in moons, in you. The great furnace of creation continues. Stars still being born, elements still being forged. But something new has awakened awareness. A spark that will one day ask, where did I come from? And listen to the stars for an answer as you drift now deeper into quiet. Feel that connection, the endless chain linking your heartbeat to the pulse of galaxies. From atoms to oceans, from stars to cells, the same rhythm repeating, the same music playing softly across time. And as your breathing slows, imagine the dust settling around you. each particle glowing faintly before it disappears. It has found its purpose, it has found form, and so have you. You are the living proof of the universe's patience, a miracle made of memory and light, the stardust that learned to dream. Soon, in the next part of our journey, we'll follow those newborn worlds. Watch oceans gather, mountains rise, and atmospheres breathe for the first time. We'll see how a planet becomes alive, how chemistry turns to consciousness. But for now, let the starlight around you dim, let the silence of creation cradle you, and know, as you drift toward sleep, that the same atoms forming your thoughts tonight once burned in the hearts of stars, and they will shine again long after you are gone. Because nothing truly ends, it only changes form. It only continues the dance, quietly, eternally, beautifully. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be the first breath of a world? Not a human breath, not even an animal's, but the sigh of a planet as it wakes from silence, a time before trees, before oceans, before even color itself existed in the way we know it now. The universe had been busy for billions of years, forming stars, forging elements, but something was missing, something soft, something alive, and somewhere, in the quiet folds of space, a small blue spark began to form. Picture yourself floating through a sea of dust and rock. The remnants of stars swirl around you like ash and snow. Gravity begins to pull, slowly, gently at first. Then, with growing insistence, the particles collide, cling and warm. Every touch adds heat. Every collision adds weight, until, in the darkness, something round begins to take shape. A planet, still molten, still glowing, its surface an ocean of fire, its sky thick with smoke and lightning. This world is newborn, trembling with energy. You can almost hear it, the deep hum of molten metal beneath your feet. Rivers of lava carving the first scars into its crust. Thunder rolling through clouds heavy with chemicals. The planet breathes, not with lungs, but with storms. Its heartbeat is the tremor of volcanoes, its pulse the dance of magnetic fields being born. Billions of years ago, Earth looked like this. But she was not alone. Across the cosmos, other young worlds spun in silence, each hoping, in their own way, to cradle life. Some failed, too cold, too close to the flame. Some broke apart under their own chaos, but this one, the one you're standing on, holds a secret. The right balance between warmth and distance. The right mixture of chaos and calm, and somewhere beneath its storms, something incredible is about to begin. Imagine the rain for the first time. The sky opens. Drops of water hiss as they strike the burning ground. Steam rises in shimmering veils. Thunder softens into whispers. The air cools, and after endless fire, there is finally water. At first, it pools in craters and crevices, then grows into lakes, then into oceans, vast and endless, stretching under a sky now gray and soft. The first reflections of light ripple across their surface, the first mirror of the heavens above. Did you know that every drop of water on Earth is older than Earth itself? That the hydrogen within it was born in the Big Bang, and the oxygen was forged in ancient stars? So when rain falls, it's not just weather, it's the return of the cosmos to itself, falling gently upon its own creation, now beneath these newborn oceans. in the dark where sunlight never touches. The story grows quieter. Hot vents open along the seafloor, spewing minerals and warmth, and in this dark alchemy, the simple molecules from the stars begin to dance. Carbon meets nitrogen, hydrogen embraces oxygen, and somewhere in that chaos, patterns form, shapes repeat, a rhythm begins. For millions of years it continues, chemical symphonies rising and fading, until one molecule, small, fragile, learns a new trick. It can copy itself. It doesn't need memory or mind, just structure, shape, and chance, each copy a little imperfect. And in those imperfections, evolution is born. Can you feel the quiet suspense of that moment? The entire universe has held its breath for billions of years, and now, in this invisible instant, it exhales life, the first spark in a cosmic ocean. It's not a creature yet, not even a cell, just the idea of persistence, but it will grow. It will adapt, and one day, it will look back at the stars and remember this beginning. Above, lightning still flashes across the sky. Volcanoes still roar. Meteorites still fall like sparks from the forge. But beneath the waves, a new story is writing itself in silence. Tiny bubbles rise from the vents, carrying whispers of organic compounds. Chains of molecules form membranes, membranes form boundaries, and boundaries create identity, a this and a that. And the rest of the world, it may not sound like much, but that's the first boundary of consciousness, the first I, born not in thought, but in chemistry. Some scientists believe life began this way. Others imagine it starting on comets or meteorites, frozen seeds from other worlds, delivered to Earth in cosmic storms. Either way, it's all connected because life didn't come from somewhere else. It came from everywhere, from stars, from space, from time itself. The oceans grow calmer, the planet cools. Continents rise slowly like the backs of sleeping giants. The sky turns blue. The air begins to fill with new gases. The first single-celled organisms breathe. Their breath is oxygen. Their song is invisible. But it will change the planet forever. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine watching this from above. Millions of years passing in seconds. Tides shifting, continents drifting, clouds swirling, volcanoes glowing like embers in the night, and beneath it all, the slow, steady persistence of life. Not rushing, not desperate, just patient, infinitely patient. Each generation of cells passes something forward, a tiny instruction written in code, a memory of how to survive, how to become something more. And one day, in shallow pools, lit by the faint sun, some of them learn to work together, forming colonies, then tissues, then bodies, and the world begins to change again. You could call it evolution, or you could call it dreaming. The universe dreaming of itself, finding ways to become more complex, to see more clearly, to feel more deeply. Did you know that almost every element of your body once existed in a single-celled organism like those? That your neurons, your blood, your DNA all began in these ancient oceans? Every heartbeat you've ever felt echoes the same rhythm as the tides that formed you. It's strange and beautiful, isn't it, that we, as humans, spend so much time looking up at the stars, never realizing they're also within us, that the oxygen you breathe was once part of an ocean that slept beneath lightning, that your thoughts are built on the same laws that governed the first molecule's attempt to survive. Now the young planet spins quietly, her surface cooling, her seas glimmering under the first true moonlight. The world is alive, still primitive, but awake. Each sunrise brings new combinations. Each night a new chance for chemistry to dance. And through it all, gravity holds everything together. Oceans to earth, moons to planets, atoms to life. Somewhere far away, in another corner of the galaxy, other worlds are doing the same. But tonight, our story belongs to this one. Our little blue planet, who has just learned how to breathe. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine the planet resting too. Oceans sighing under starlight, continents shifting slowly in their slumber. Life is still fragile, but unstoppable. The air hums softly with energy. And in that hum lies every possibility. Forests, mountains, voices, you. And when you breathe in now, know that you are breathing the memory of that first air. The quiet exhale of a world that found its rhythm. You are breathing with the planet itself, with the same molecules that began this story billions of years ago. Still moving, still alive, still learning. Soon, we'll follow life as it learns to rise, as it reaches toward sunlight for the first time, as it grows fins, leaves, wings, and wonder. We'll see the first forests bloom, the first creatures crawl, and the long dream of evolution begin to unfold. But for now, let this thought rest in your mind like soft light. You are not simply living on Earth. You are part of Earth, the same story, the same breath, the same awakening, and as you sleep, so does the planet, turning slowly under starlight, alive, patient, eternal. Have you ever wondered what the very first light on Earth looked like? Not the blazing fire of stars above, nor the golden warmth of the newborn sun, but the quiet, trembling light that came from life itself. The light that pulsed in darkness, hidden deep beneath the ocean's skin. The first whisper of the living world, learning how to shine. Picture yourself floating far below the surface. In the ancient seas where the world first breathed, the water is thick and heavy with minerals, a dusky green blue that swallows every ray of sunlight. The surface above is a hazy shimmer, and below an infinite dark. A night without stars, silent, endless. The great oxygenation event, that's what scientists call it now. But you can think of it as the planet's first awakening. The day Earth learned how to breathe, it was both creation and destruction. For while oxygen made complex life possible, it also killed much of what came before. The ancient microbes that thrived without it found themselves poisoned by their own descendants. It was a quiet revolution, the first extinction born of progress. And yet, without it, nothing more would have followed. There's a strange poetry in that, isn't there? That the act of creation always carries a shadow of loss. That even in nature's calmest rhythm, something must fade so something new can rise. Even now, that same story plays out everywhere. In forests, in stars, in us. Every breath you take destroys and sustains in the same instant. A perfect balance between letting go and holding on. Imagine now drifting through that transformed ocean. The surface glimmers with green light. The air above shimmers with haze, and for the first time, a breeze moves across the planet, tiny ripples on the water, whispers of air that carry the scent of salt and possibility. The sun above burns pale gold, filtered through new layers of atmosphere, no longer raw and scorching, but softened, gentler, alive in this new world. The first ecosystems begin to take shape. Communities of microbes cluster into mats, fields of living color stretching across the shallows. Each cell still tiny, but together they form patterns, textures, structures, cooperation. Life learning to organize, to build, to share. This is the beginning of collaboration, the first network, the earliest whisper of the systems that will one day shape forests and civilizations. Did you know that those ancient cyanobacteria still exist today? In every pond, in every coral reef, their descendants float quietly, still performing the same miracle, still breathing light into the world. When you walk outside and feel the freshness of morning air, you're breathing the work of billions of years of photosynthesis. The legacy of creatures smaller than dust, but powerful enough to turn a barren rock into paradise. Now, as more oxygen fills the air, something else begins to form: the ozone layer, a thin, invisible shield wrapping around the planet. It protects the surface from the harsh, ultraviolet light of the sun. For the first time, life can safely move upward, out of the deep oceans and into the light. The world is preparing for a new stage, a new frontier. The suspense builds quietly here, because evolution is stirring, ready to experiment again, ready to dream in new directions. In tidal shallows, new forms appear. Cells joining into colonies, colonies forming tissues, tissues beginning to specialize. It's the dawn of complexity. The first multicellular beings drifting like soft ribbons in the water. A symphony of cooperation. The world is no longer just alive, it is learning. And beneath this calm transformation, the planet hums with energy. Volcanoes still breathe smoke into the air. Continents still shift beneath the waves. Lightning still cracks across the horizon. But now there is balance, chaos and calm intertwined. The raw energy of the earth feeding the patient creativity of life. Every storm gives nutrients to the sea. Every eruption delivers minerals to the shallows, and life grows stronger from it. Nature is not fighting itself, it is composing itself. Close your eyes and imagine watching millions of years unfold in moments. The planet changing hue, from crimson to blue, from barren to lush, clouds swirling faster, winds shaping coastlines, tiny green organisms multiplying beyond imagination. The air thick with oxygen now, the seas sparkling under clear light, Earth's lullaby shifting from volcanic thunder to ocean rhythm, a softer, steadier heartbeat. This is the world you know, being born from one that you wouldn't recognize. A fragile blue gem finding its color, a living planet discovering its breath. And somewhere in that long, patient process, the foundations for everything, forests, animals, humans, dreams, are being quietly laid. Molecules building organs, cells forming communities. The scaffolding of evolution rising invisibly. No one is rushing, no one needs to, because in the slow work of time, everything unfolds exactly as it must. Take a deep breath now, slow and calm. Feel the air fill your lungs. You are participating in that same miracle. Breathing oxygen born from sunlight, a process older than mountains, older than memory. When you exhale, you return it. Carbon, energy, warmth, the same exchange that began in those ancient seas. Still continuing in you, life doesn't repeat. It remembers as the world turns. Night returns to the oceans, but now it's different. The darkness no longer feels empty, because even in shadow, the world glows with life. Bioluminescent creatures still drift below, while the surface shimmers with green light by day. Above, the stars watch in silence, their reflections scattered across waves that finally breathe. Earth has become a living canvas, a song of light, air, and rhythm. Soon, the next great transformation will begin. Life will rise from the water. It will learn to walk, to grow, to think, to tell stories about its own creation. But for now, the world rests in perfect balance. Not too dark, not too bright, a planet in its first peaceful breath, a cradle of calm beneath the infinite sky. And as you drift deeper into your own rest, let that image stay with you, the green shimmer of a living ocean, the slow inhale of a breathing planet, the soft light of dawn breaking across a world that has just found its voice. You are that voice. You are that breath. You are made of everything that ever learned to reach for the light. Rest now and let the sound of that first morning linger. The hum of photosynthesis, the sigh of air newly born, the peace of a planet learning to live tomorrow. We'll follow the next step when the oceans give rise to creatures that move, when evolution takes its first leap from water to land, when eyes open for the first time to see the world they helped create. But tonight, let the green dawn cradle you, the quiet breath of the planet surrounding you, a timeless rhythm of life and sleep. As the earth continues to dream beneath an endless sky, have you ever wondered what it was like when life first opened its eyes? Not metaphorically, but truly, when, for the first time in all of existence, a living creature gazed into the world around it and saw light and shadow, and the shimmering movement of another being beside it. Before that moment, the planet was alive but blind. The oceans thrived with creatures feeling their way through the dark, sensing warmth, vibration, the slow current of water around them. But no one had ever seen the sun glitter across the waves. No one had ever followed a shadow or admired a sparkle. For billions of years, life lived without sight, content to exist in the soft blur of the unseen. And then, quietly, it began. Picture yourself drifting in an ancient sea again. It's darker now, not because the light is gone, but because you are deep, hundreds of meters below the surface, where sunlight is only a whisper. Faint beams filter through the water, bending, fading, turning from gold to green to deep sapphire. You float weightlessly, surrounded by soft moving shapes, creatures with no eyes, yet each one sensing you in ways we can barely imagine. The water hums with life, vibrations, magnetic whispers, the electric pulse of motion, and then, in one tiny being, something extraordinary happens. A single cell develops a patch that reacts to light. Just a cluster of sensitive molecules, a primitive eye spot. It can't form images. It can't distinguish shapes, but it can feel the difference between light and dark, between day and night, between the safety of shadow and the brightness that calls upward. And that tiny change changes everything, because the creature that can sense light can find the sun, can seek warmth, can avoid danger, can live longer, and the world as it always does, rewards awareness soon. Others evolve similar spots, better, sharper, more sensitive. The oceans fill with new possibilities. Predators learn to detect the faint glow of prey, and prey learn to hide in the darkness. Sight becomes survival. Did you know that every eye on Earth, from yours to a jellyfish's, can trace its origin to that single innovation? That patch of cells, that first flicker of vision from it. Over countless generations came every kind of seeing we know, compound eyes of insects, the enormous orbs of squids, the focused gaze of an eagle, and the tender human glance. Imagine millions of years passing in slow motion, cells refining themselves, folding inward, forming cups that could detect the direction of light. Then the cups deepen, a layer of tissue stretches across them, clear and curved, and suddenly focus is born. The world is no longer just brightness and darkness. It has edges, details, movement. A predator can now see the shimmer of a fin. A prey can spot the silhouette of danger approaching. The dance of life accelerates. The ocean, once a quiet hum, becomes a stage of pursuit and evasion, each glance shaping the next step of evolution. And yet, in this grand story, there is beauty far deeper than competition, because the birth of vision was also the birth of wonder. For the first time, creatures could witness color, could follow the dappled shimmer of light through the water, could perceive the world not only as something to survive, but something to experience. Life began to see the world that had created it. Picture now a world before color existed, at least to perception. Everything the same dull shadow. Then imagine the moment when pigments evolved, when eyes developed the ability to distinguish wavelengths, when red and blue and green burst into awareness. The oceans must have become an explosion of hue. Coral-like organisms glowing softly beneath the waves, fish beginning to display patterns, markings that signaled attraction or warning. Color became communication, vision became language, and life became art. Science tells us that eyes evolved independently at least 40 times, 40 separate lineages of creatures, all discovering sight in their own way. That means vision wasn't an accident, it was inevitable, the universe longing to see itself through as many forms as it could create. From the giant camera eyes of squids, to the mosaic vision of dragonflies, to the soft brown gaze of a deer in a forest. The cosmos found countless mirrors through which to look back. Have you ever thought of that your eyes are the universe observing itself? That every sunrise, every reflection in water, every glimmer of a star is part of a conversation between existence and awareness. For billions of years, there was only the dark, then light, then life, and then the gaze. There's something hauntingly suspenseful about that realization, isn't there? That everything you've ever seen, the sky, the sea, the person you love, is possible because of a random patch of light-sensitive molecules. A moment of biochemical curiosity, and yet without it, there would be no beauty, no art, no story, no starlight in your dreams. As sight developed, so too did consciousness. Creatures began to recognize patterns, then themselves within those patterns. The awareness of light gave birth to awareness of self. When an organism can see, it can also imagine. It can picture the world even when it's not there. And that, perhaps, was the first spark of thought. Close your eyes for a moment, ironically, and imagine what it feels like to be a creature seeing for the first time. You open your eye, perhaps just a spot of light, and there it is. A vast glowing world around you, waves bending the sunlight, dust glimmering like gold, another being moving through the shimmer. You do not understand it, but you know it's there. And that knowledge is enough to change everything. Now, as millions of years unfold, eyes grow more complex. Some turn toward the surface, some toward the depths. Some learn to reflect light back, like mirrors. Sharks and squid develop lenses, each species sculpting vision to its environment. Even plants, in their quiet way, begin to sense light direction. Turning gently toward the sun, the world becomes aware of its own illumination. Like a dream learning to dream itself. Did you know that human eyes can detect a single photon, a particle of light so faint it carries the whisper of a star? Our vision is the echo of that first light-detecting cell. Refined over billions of years, every blink, every gaze, every tear of emotion is the same biological miracle replaying over and over. And just as vision changed how creatures lived, it changed how they behaved. Predators began to hunt in packs, using coordinated sight. Fish learned to school, hundreds moving as one, their silver sides flashing in the sun. It was both defense and dance, beauty born from survival and above. The skies watched quietly, patiently, waiting for the moment when vision would reach the surface. And look upward. You can almost feel the anticipation building through time. Life growing bolder, eyes turning toward the faint shimmer above the waves. Until, one day, they break through, and for the first time, a creature looks up at the sun directly, not as warmth, but as light, pure and radiant. And in that instant, the world becomes infinite. That creature will never know its name, its species, its fate, but through it, the story of perception began. From the sea's soft blue to the stars' sharp glow, life had learned to see, and once seen, the universe could never be unseen. Poetically speaking, the first eyes were the first windows, not to the outside, but to the inside, to curiosity, to reflection, to meaning. When life learned to see, it also learned to dream. For in vision came imagination, and in imagination, the seeds of everything to come: art, emotion, consciousness, memory, love. And as you listen now, resting, drifting, with your eyes softly closed, you are connected to that same lineage. You are the sum of everything that ever reached toward the light. Every gaze of every creature that ever wondered what lay beyond the darkness. Your dreams tonight, the colors, the shapes, the moving stories, are made possible by that first flicker of vision beneath ancient waves. A single spark that never went out. So let your mind wander now. Let your imagination drift through that primordial ocean, light scattering like silver dust, the first eyes opening slowly, seeing not just the world, but possibility itself, the pulse of creation reflected in every shimmering ripple. The story of life unfolding, not through words, but through sight. As you drift deeper, know that somewhere in that infinite darkness, you are both the observer and the observed, the dreamer and the dream, the ancient cell and the cosmic gaze. You are light, you are seeing, you are seen. Rest now, and let the first light fade behind your eyelids. The ocean hums, the stars shimmer faintly above, and the world continues to turn, each rotation another blink of creation. Each breath, another moment of sight becoming awareness. Another step in the long, quiet story of a universe that opened its eyes. Have you ever wondered when the world first became beautiful? Not just alive, but beautiful. When color wasn't merely a property of light, but a language, a song between living things. When the seas, the skies, and the creatures within them began to shimmer, not for survival alone, but to be seen. It's strange to imagine, but for billions of years, the earth was nearly colorless. The oceans were gray-green, the land barren and muted, and life itself, transparent, pale, a whisper against the dim blue light. There was no red coral, no golden feather, no emerald leaf, only motion, only existence. Then one day, something new began to emerge. Pigment. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a shallow, ancient sea. The air is heavy with mist, the sun low, casting ribbons of gold through the haze. The waves lap quietly against soft stone, and beneath the surface, something begins to glow. At first faint, a gentle shimmer of green spreading through mats of cyanobacteria. They are painting with light, absorbing some wavelengths, reflecting others, and for the first time, color blooms. The world is learning to paint itself. At the heart of this transformation is sunlight, that ancient, endless artist. Each ray holds many colors, hidden in its white glow. When light touches matter, some colors are swallowed, others reflected, and the result is the first palette. Pigments evolve as shields, as tools, as accidents. Some cells create molecules to protect themselves from radiation, and those molecules happen to shimmer, to glisten, to shine, and in that shimmer, beauty is born. Did you know that color was not invented by light, but revealed by life? That before living things evolved pigments, there was no true color as we know it. The world existed only in the gray scale of physics, and then life arrived and began to decorate the universe. Imagine now the early ocean scene from above. From a distance, vast and glimmering, patches of emerald spreading like ink through the blue. Each patch alive, billions of cells humming in quiet photosynthetic rhythm. They are the painters of air, breathing oxygen into the sky and painting the surface beneath them, a soft watercolor of green and silver. This is the first canvas, the first mural ever made. As time drifts forward, the palette expands. Plants, or their ancient ancestors, begin to craft new pigments, not just green chlorophyll, but deep purples, rusty reds, radiant yellows, each a molecule tuned to a different kind of light, each serving a purpose, absorbing energy, dissipating heat, or simply catching the sun in a more dazzling way. And soon, color becomes more than survival. It becomes communication. Somewhere in those early ecosystems, organisms begin to notice, to respond, to prefer, a subtle attraction to certain wavelengths, perhaps red over blue, perhaps gold over gray. It starts as a chemical reaction, but becomes something else, a whisper of choice, of taste, of attention, and from that moment, color becomes emotion. Did you know that bees see colors humans cannot? They see ultraviolet patterns invisible to us, hidden in petals, guiding them toward nectar. What we call beauty, to them, is instruction. Nature hides messages in the language of color. To survive, to attract, to warn, flowers speak to insects, fish to fish, birds to mates, all through pigments and light. Every color we see, and every color we can't, is a sentence, written in the grammar of sunlight. Now imagine the land beginning to bloom. The first plants stretch upward, their leaves deep green, their stems tinged with red across shallow lakes. Early algae form carpets of every hue, and above them the sky begins to deepen into blue. For the first time, the world is layered: water, land, sky, each with its own palette, each reflecting the sun in a new way. The earth has found its voice, and that voice sings in color. There's something thrilling about realizing that everything colorful you've ever seen, the violet of twilight, the amber of autumn leaves, the soft blush of dawn, is the result of atoms learning to play with light. Color is the conversation between matter and energy, between the tangible and the infinite. It is sunlight made visible, translated by life into meaning. When you look at a flower, you're not just seeing color, you're seeing time. You're seeing the story of survival written in wavelengths, and yet, color has always carried mystery. Even now, we don't truly know why certain shades comfort us, why blues calm and reds excite. It may be buried deep within our evolution. The blue of open sky meant safety, clear weather, no storm. The red of fire meant warmth or danger. The green of growth meant food, life, balance. And so, we feel these things without thinking. Each color a memory of survival, painted across our senses. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine drifting through a coral reef, not as it is now, but as it first formed millions of years ago. Columns of pink and gold rising from the seafloor, fish flashing silver and violet as they weave through the light. The water filled with particles of color, floating pigment dust, the breath of life, shimmering in every direction. The sunlight filters down like silk, breaking into bands of turquoise and gold. Every movement paints a new reflection. Every shadow creates a new hue. The ocean is no longer just a home, it is a masterpiece. But color has a darker side too. For every attraction it inspires, it also deceives. Predators learn to mimic the colors of harmless species. Prey evolve patterns to blend into coral or sand. Some creatures glow in warning, a promise of poison to any who approach. Others glow to lure. The deep sea becomes a theater of illusion, where light is both shield and sword. Every hue has meaning, every shimmer intention. Imagine, in the midnight ocean, a jellyfish pulsing softly, its body glowing in bands of green and blue. Bioluminescence, light born from within, created by chemical reaction, used to attract, to defend, or perhaps simply to exist, to be beautiful in the dark. Did you know that the genes behind this glow, the famous green fluorescent proteins, are used in modern science to trace life itself, to watch how cells move, to follow the dance of DNA? Even now, the language of color continues to teach us, continues to reveal the unseen. There's a lovely symmetry here, isn't there? That the same colors which evolved to seduce or warn in ancient oceans now guide our microscopes, illuminating the hidden world within us. We are still learning to read the code of light, still painting with it, still mesmerized by the same shimmer that began long before eyes or art. As the world grows richer in color, so too does emotion. For when creatures can perceive color, they can also feel not just instinct, but preference, affection, memory. A bird may seek the bluest feather in a mate, a A fish may dance beneath crimson coral. A flower may unfurl in sunlight, not for necessity, but for beauty itself. Beauty, perhaps, is the universe's way of celebrating awareness, the meeting of perception and creation. Now imagine the Earth seen from space at this stage. A swirl of blues, greens, and copper browns. Clouds curling in white ribbons. Oceans glimmering with the reflection of sunrise. The planet is no longer a stone. It's a painting, each stroke alive, each color breathing. The same sunlight that touches your skin tonight once carved these pigments from the void. Every beam a brushstroke, every molecule a drop of paint. And somewhere deep within you, that story continues. For your eyes, those ancient instruments born from the sea still speak in color, still interpret the world through light. Your emotions shift with hue, your memories glow in shades of nostalgia. The orange of a childhood sunset, the blue of quiet nights, the gold of morning hope. You are made of color, inside and out. So, as you lie there now, softly breathing, let your mind drift through that painted world. Feel the soft warmth of sunlight on ancient water. See the world bloom from gray into green, from dull into dazzling. Let every color soothe you. Let it slow your pulse. Let the red of fire fade into the calm blue of night. The blue dissolve into gentle violet, the violet into starlight, until all hues merge into one piece. The world learned to paint itself, to speak in color, and through that expression, it learned to feel. Beauty was not a luxury, but a survival, not decoration, but declaration. Every color you see is an echo of that first creative breath. Every dawn a reminder of how light and life fell in love. And as the sky darkens above our story now, and stars begin to shimmer once more, you can rest knowing that color never truly fades. It only changes form, from sunlight to memory, from wave to warmth, from energy to dream. Tonight, as your eyes close, you become part of that long painted lineage, a living reflection of light itself. The universe sees through you, and in doing so, knows its own beauty. Rest easy, for even in the darkness, there is color, hidden, patient, waiting to be seen, waiting to be remembered, waiting to return with the next sunrise. Have you ever wondered what happens when two galaxies meet in the vast, silent ocean of space? It's easy to imagine chaos, stars colliding, planets shattering, destruction echoing through the dark void. But the truth is far more graceful, far more poetic than our minds first imagine, because when galaxies collide, they don't crash like cars on a highway. They dance, slowly, silently, over billions of years, drawn together by invisible threads of gravity, weaving a new story of creation and transformation across the night sky. Picture yourself floating far above the Milky Way, drifting beyond our spiral arms, watching the soft, luminous curves of our galaxy turning like a gentle whirlpool. Somewhere in the distance, another galaxy, perhaps the Andromeda, glows faintly, its light whispering across millions of light years. As time stretches and folds, the two begin to move closer, drawn together by gravity's eternal pull. You would not hear a sound, not a tremor, not a single note, only the slow ballet of stars moving toward one another, their destinies entwined. At first, the distance between them is too vast to notice any change. Millions of years pass, and the galaxies drift closer. Stars slowly shifting in response to the growing pull, their halos, those faint, ghostly spheres of dark matter, begin to touch long before the galaxies themselves do. It's almost like the way two lovers feel each other's presence before their hands meet. The gravitational fields intertwine, warping space ever so slightly, setting the stage for a cosmic waltz. You might imagine stars colliding in fiery destruction, but the distances between stars are so vast that even in the densest regions, collisions are rare. Instead, they glide past one another in silence, reshaping their paths, bending light, pulling entire solar systems into new orbits. Clouds of interstellar gas and dust, however, do collide, and when they do, they ignite spectacular bursts of star formation. It's as if the universe, in the midst of transformation, breathes out new life, filling the darkness with the soft glow of newborn stars. Scientists call this process a starburst, and it is one of the most breathtaking consequences of galactic mergers. These newborn stars burn bright and fast, their light cascading across the cosmos, revealing the intricate structure of the merging galaxies. Some grow massive, living brief but brilliant lives before collapsing into black holes or scattering their elements across space. It's through these collisions, this celestial choreography, that galaxies evolve, grow, and mature. Each merger, each interaction, reshapes the identity of the galaxies involved, blending their stars, their gases, their dark matter, until a new form emerges. Our own Milky Way is destined for such a fate. In about 4 billion years, we will begin our long, slow dance with the Andromeda Galaxy. Even now, if you look toward the constellation of Andromeda, you can see it with the naked eye, a faint blur of light, seemingly still, yet moving toward us at over 100 kilometers per second. Astronomers have simulated this future encounter, showing how our galaxies will intertwine, stretching into tidal tails, long streams of stars pulled outward like silk ribbons in the dark. The sight will be astonishing, though no living eyes will witness it. Our sun, by then, will be nearing the end of its stable life, and Earth may be too hot to harbor life as we know it. But above the dying world, the night sky will blaze with new patterns, two galaxies overlapping, spiraling together in a slow, radiant embrace. Eventually, the Milky Way and Andromeda will merge into a single, massive elliptical galaxy, often called a silent monument to cosmic evolution. It's fascinating to realize that this process, which seems violent and cataclysmic, is actually deeply creative. Galaxies need to merge, to evolve, to recycle their gases, to form new stars, to grow in complexity. Even our existence may be the result of ancient mergers, billions of years ago, that seeded the Milky Way with the ingredients for planets and life. In this way, destruction and creation are not opposites in the universe, but partners, two sides of the same timeless rhythm. And if you close your eyes now, you might picture this galactic dance not as chaos, but as music, silent music, played across light, where gravity is the rhythm and stars are the notes. Every rotation, every orbit, every pull and push between cosmic bodies forms a melody so slow, so vast, that we can only sense fragments of it. The universe is not rushing, not colliding, it is becoming. It's humbling to think that everything you've ever known, every atom in your body, comes from these grand, slow motions, from the merging and remixing of galaxies. You are, in a very real sense, a child of collisions, of quiet transformation, born from the cosmic dance of light and matter. Now, as you breathe in, imagine those galaxies drifting closer, and as you breathe out, imagine them gently merging, becoming one, forming something larger, more beautiful, more luminous than before. Let the rhythm of their motion echo your heartbeat, slow, steady, calm, because in this vast, unfolding story, you too are part of the dance. And as the galaxies fade into one another, let your thoughts dissolve too. Let your mind rest, weightless, like starlight drifting across the quiet dark. We've watched the galaxies dance, and soon we'll drift deeper still, toward the next mystery of the sleeping universe, where even the stars begin to dream, and light itself learns to rest. Now breathe, and let's float onward, into the quiet beyond, where the cosmic story continues, softly, endlessly, in the stillness of space. Have you ever wondered what happens when a star's light fades, when it can no longer hold itself together, when gravity wins the long, quiet battle against its own brilliance? It's strange to think that the end of something so radiant could be the beginning of something so mysterious. Yet this is how the universe works. Every death becomes a door, and behind that door lies one of the greatest mysteries of all, the birth of a black hole. Picture yourself drifting in space, your body light as a whisper ahead of you. A giant star burns massive, ancient, nearing the end of its life. Its surface trembles with storms of unimaginable heat. Every second, it burns away millions of tons of hydrogen, fighting to hold its own weight against gravity's constant pull. But inside, deep within its glowing heart, fuel is running low. The balance is beginning to break. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, gravity begins to win. The outer layers of the star tremble, collapsing inward. The pressure at the core rises to unimaginable levels, and then, in an instant that defies time, the star implodes. It collapses into itself. Faster than thought, atoms crushed beyond recognition, light swallowed before it can even escape. What remains is not destruction, but transformation. A black hole, invisible, silent, but unimaginably powerful. Scientists call this moment gravitational collapse. But you could just as easily call it rebirth through darkness, because while a black hole consumes, it also shapes, it sculpts galaxies, governs orbits, and stirs the flow of cosmic energy. It's a paradox, a place where light cannot escape. Yet from its presence, entire galaxies find order. Imagine the newborn black hole, no larger than a city, yet heavier than 1,000,000 suns. Its gravity so intense that space itself bends inward. Time slows down as you approach. A second nearby might feel like hours for someone far away. This region around the black hole, where light begins to bend but hasn't yet vanished, is called the event horizon. It's the border between the knowable and the unknown, between the visible and the void. And beyond that horizon, no one truly knows, not yet. Not even the most advanced physics can fully describe what lies inside. It's a place where the known laws of reality break, where space and time twist into forms our minds can't yet imagine. Some say the core of a black hole, the singularity, is a single point of infinite density. Others believe it's a gateway, not an end, but a bridge, a tunnel to another universe, another beginning, another form of existence entirely. Even in their darkness, black holes are not silent. When matter drifts too close, gas, dust, or entire stars, it spirals inward, forming what scientists call an accretion disk. The friction and energy in that disk create immense light, a final flare before the darkness takes hold. Sometimes the energy released can outshine an entire galaxy. These eruptions, quasars, are among the brightest phenomena in the universe, and at their core, always, sits a black hole, feeding, glowing, reshaping the cosmos. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, has one, too. A colossal black hole called Sagittarius A. It sits quietly at the center, invisible to the eye. Yet everything, every star, every planet, every orbit dances subtly in response to its gravity. It's the anchor of our galaxy, the unseen heart that holds us all in place. It's strange, isn't it, how something born from collapse can become a center of balance? How something invisible can hold everything together? Maybe there's something deeply human in that idea. The notion that even the darkest parts of existence can hold purpose. That gravity, even when it seems like it's pulling us down, can sometimes keep us whole. Now, imagine drifting near the edge of a black hole, the event horizon shimmering like a soft, dark mirror. Stars bend and stretch around you, their light distorted into arcs, cosmic rainbows frozen in time. You could never cross that horizon, but you can feel the stillness near it, the way everything slows, the way silence deepens until it feels like time itself has gone to sleep. If you could listen closely, you might hear something faint, the soft echo of radiation escaping the edge. Scientists call it Hawking radiation, named after the man who first predicted it. It's the black hole's quiet breath, its whisper back into the universe, proof that even in ultimate darkness, nothing is ever truly lost. That energy, like memory, finds its way back into the light. Now, let yourself reflect for a moment. Black holes are not destroyers, they're alchemists. They turn collapse into creation. They shape the rhythm of galaxies, the birth of stars, the dance of time itself. Even your atoms, the carbon in your bones, the iron in your blood, were forged in stars that died and perhaps were swallowed by black holes long ago. So when you think about it, you carry their history, their gravity, their mystery inside you. Let that thought settle. Let it calm you, because in the vast, endless story of the universe, even endings are never really ends. Every fall becomes a foundation. Every silence hides a new song waiting to be sung as you breathe now. Imagine that dark horizon fading into the distance, the stars returning, glowing softly like tiny embers of peace. Your body feels heavier, your thoughts slower, like you're orbiting closer to sleep, drifting toward that same quiet balance the universe knows so well. And as the last echoes of the black hole fade into stillness, let your mind rest in that silence. Let the weight of the world fall away, because next we'll drift even deeper beyond the black holes, into the fabric of space itself, where gravity, time, and dream all weave together in the silent architecture of the sleeping universe. Breathe, rest, and drift onward into the next chapter, where the universe dreams of itself. In the still of endless night, have you ever wondered what holds the universe together? What invisible force stretches across billions of light years, connecting galaxies like pearls on a cosmic string? It's something we cannot see, cannot touch, and yet it moves everything from the smallest grain of cosmic dust to the grand spirals of entire galaxies. This force has no sound, no color, no scent, but it is the reason the stars form, the planets orbit, and the cosmos takes shape instead of dissolving into chaos. It's gravity, the silent sculptor of everything that exists. Picture yourself floating at the edge of the observable universe. Around you lies an ocean of darkness. Galaxies shimmer like lanterns, scattered across an infinite sea. But if you could pull back even farther, farther than your eyes can imagine, you would see something breathtaking. The galaxies are not scattered at random. They form patterns, filaments, vast clusters that connect through space like delicate threads. These filaments form what scientists call the cosmic web, a structure so large and intricate that it defies comprehension. It is the architecture of the universe itself. And every thread of it hums with the quiet music of gravity. It began long ago, when the universe was young, only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. Back then, everything was simpler. A fog of hydrogen and helium stretched endlessly. But small fluctuations, tiny imperfections in density, began to grow. Gravity, gentle yet relentless, tugged on these denser regions, slowly pulling matter together, forming knots and filaments that grew into galaxies. Over billions of years, these filaments expanded and connected like the veins of a living organism, carrying matter, energy, and light through the body of the cosmos. It's humbling to think that something so immense, a structure stretching across hundreds of millions of light years, could emerge from something so subtle, just the tiniest imbalance, just a slightly denser patch of matter. And from that, a universe of galaxies was born. Now, imagine gliding along one of these filaments. Each thread is not solid. It's made of dark matter, the invisible glue of the cosmos. Dark matter does not emit light or absorb it, but its gravity shapes everything around it. We only know it's there because of how galaxies move, how their stars spin faster than they should, how light bends when it passes through these hidden regions. Dark matter forms the scaffolding, the cosmic framework upon which everything luminous is hung. If you could visualize it, you might see these filaments glowing faintly, stretching across space like rivers of ghostly silk. Galaxies cluster where these threads intersect. The crossings are bright and full of life regions where gravity's pull is strongest, where stars are born, where black holes thrive, and where light gathers in celebration of existence. Even the vast emptiness between these threads, the voids, play their role. These enormous regions of near-nothingness, stretching millions of light years across, give contrast to the cosmic web's brilliance, like the quiet between notes in a song. Without the void, the structure would lose its shape. Without stillness, the dance of gravity would lose its grace. You might wonder how we know such a thing exists. How can humanity, so small, so temporary, map something so vast? The answer lies in light. Astronomers study the faint glow of distant galaxies. They watch how light stretches as it travels through time and space, how it bends, warps, or dims when passing through invisible structures. And from these distortions, they reconstruct the hidden skeleton of the cosmos, like tracing the wind by watching the movement of leaves. Light reveals gravity's unseen touch in recent decades. Simulations created by supercomputers have brought this web to life. They show galaxies flowing through these filaments, like fireflies following unseen paths, clusters merging, expanding, spinning, each movement echoing the deep rhythm of cosmic gravity. Some call it the heartbeat of the universe, a slow, pulsing rhythm that expands and contracts over billions of years. And though we'll never feel it, we live within it. Our Milky Way is just one thread among trillions, drifting quietly through the web, guided by invisible currents. It's a strange thought that we exist not just in the universe, but of it, every particle of us bound by the same threads. Every breath, every thought, every heartbeat, all anchored in gravity's embrace. Even your body, lying still as you listen now, is part of that same structure. Your atoms, born in stars, connected through the unseen web that holds galaxies together. You are, in every sense, woven into the fabric of space itself. Now close your eyes. Imagine those threads stretching infinitely around you, soft and luminous, like strings of silver light, each pulse of your heart echoing across them, each breath you take gently vibrating the invisible web. You are connected to everything, the stars, the planets, the distant galaxies beyond imagination. You are part of the same cosmic tapestry that gravity has been weaving since time began. The more you relax, the more you can sense it, the quiet order hidden beneath chaos, the way everything from a falling leaf to a spiral galaxy obeys the same invisible pull. Gravity is not only a force, it's the universe's way of keeping its story together, of reminding every particle that it belongs. Now take a slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine the threads of space vibrating softly, carrying your breath into the fabric of creation, the same breath that moves the stars, that stirs the galaxies, that travels endlessly across time. In this stillness, you are both infinitesimal and infinite, a single note in the grand harmony of existence, a flicker of consciousness inside an ocean of gravity and light. The universe does not rush, it simply unfolds. And as you drift into deeper rest, you unfold with it, part of the same endless weaving. And as we move onward, past these cosmic filaments, through the soft tension of space, we'll begin to explore what lies beyond the fabric itself, where gravity fades and energy whispers, where the universe expands not into space, but into itself. Now breathe, and let the threads of space hold you. You are safe, you are home, and the story continues. In the still of the sleeping universe, where everything, even darkness, is connected by the gentle, unbreakable pull of gravity. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt that quiet, endless stretch, that sense that everything above you is moving away, slowly, gently, silently? It's not your imagination. The universe itself is expanding. Not like an explosion you can hear, not like waves you can see, but more like a breath, a soft, invisible inhalation of creation that has been continuing for nearly 14 billion years. Every moment, every second you exist, the fabric of space itself stretches, the galaxies drift farther apart. And light, ancient light, travels endlessly through that widening silence. But what does it mean for space to expand? How can something as empty as the void itself breathe? To answer that, we must go back to a time when everything was closer, denser, hotter, when the universe was young and restless. A time before galaxies, before stars, when everything that ever was or ever would be was packed into a single, infinite moment. Picture yourself there, floating at the edge of that first second. You would see no stars, no light, only the faint glow of energy swirling in all directions. The universe was smaller than an atom, a pulse of pure potential. And then, with no sound, with no warning, it began to expand, not into space, but creating space as it grew. The Big Bang was not an explosion in the ordinary sense. It was the birth of space-time itself, the first breath of the cosmos. As the universe expanded, it cooled. The furious energy began to calm. Particles formed, protons, electrons, neutrons. They danced together, collided, separated, and eventually combined to form the first simple atoms, mostly hydrogen and helium. From that, the first stars emerged. And from the stars, the first galaxies, each one drifting apart, carried by the flow of expanding space. Even now, billions of years later, the universe continues to stretch. It doesn't slow down. In fact, it's speeding up every galaxy. Every filament of the cosmic web is moving farther away from every other. This acceleration was one of the universe's great secrets, hidden until the late 20th century, when astronomers measuring distant supernova found something unexpected. The farther away a galaxy was, the faster it was receding, as if some invisible hand were pushing everything apart. They called that mysterious force dark energy, and to this day, it remains one of the deepest mysteries in all of physics. No one knows what it is, but we know it exists. We can see its fingerprints in the light of distant galaxies, in the cosmic microwave background, in the growing distance between every cluster of stars. Dark energy, quiet, unseen, relentless, is what gives the universe its rhythm. It is the reason the cosmos breathes. Imagine it like this. The universe is a great, invisible balloon. Every second, the surface stretches. Not because there's something inside pushing outward, but because the very nature of space demands expansion. Galaxies aren't flying through space. They're being carried with it, like leaves floating on a stream that grows wider every moment. Now, imagine traveling billions of light years away. Looking back at the Milky Way, you would see our galaxy growing fainter. Its light redshifted, stretched into longer wavelengths by the expansion of space. Every second that passes, light itself is pulled wider. Its color fades from blue to red, from red to invisible infrared, until, one day, it vanishes from view entirely. The universe is slowly dimming, its edges growing colder, quieter. But that's not an ending, it's evolution, because even as the galaxies drift apart, they leave behind the quiet rhythm of creation. The expansion is not chaos, it is balance, too slow to destroy, too vast to notice. Around them drift strange shapes, the first living communities, microbes feeding on the warmth, clinging to rocks made of iron and sulfur. Their lives are invisible to the eye, but their chemistry glows with purpose. Each cell dividing, learning, adapting. an orchestra of persistence, playing softly in the dark, and then, one quiet evening in the planet's history, if you could call time by such names, something new begins to happen. In one small corner of the deep, a simple organism discovers a strange trick. It begins to produce light, not borrowed from the sun, but born from within, a chemical spark, a soft blue radiance that flickers once, then again, then spreads. Imagine it, an underwater midnight, suddenly touched by stars. Tiny pinpricks of luminescence, drifting like lanterns through the dark, each one alive, each one carrying its own flame. For the first time, life has created light of its own, and it is breathtaking, even though no eyes exist yet to see it. Did you know that this light, this gentle bioluminescence, still glows in the oceans today? In jellyfish, plankton, fireflies of the sea. They are the descendants of that first spark, the living echo of the planet's earliest experiment with illumination. That same glow once danced in total darkness, millions of years before any creature crawled or walked or looked to the sky. The reaction itself is simple. Luciferin meeting oxygen, catalyzed by luciferase, a delicate chemistry producing photons instead of heat, a perfect adaptation for a cold world. And yet, within that chemical whisper lies wonder, a hidden poetry, because life, for the first time, found a way to announce itself to the void, to say, I am here, not in sound, but in light. Now imagine drifting closer. The water around you is speckled with glowing threads. They sway like constellations in liquid night. Some pulse gently, others flash in patterns, as if communicating through brightness, a Morse code written in luminescence. Some use their glow to lure, some to warn, some simply because they can. Every flicker is survival, every shimmer an experiment in endurance. Above the surface, the young planet is changing again. The atmosphere is thick with mist. The moon glows faintly through silver clouds. Lightning dances over restless seas, each bolt mirrored by soft blue sparks below Earth. In that moment, is alive with light, both from above and within. The heavens flash in fire, and the oceans answer in whispers. And if you listen carefully, you might hear it. The rhythm of that new connection, sky and sea, storm and cell, energy flowing from one realm to another. An invisible dialogue that will never stop. It's easy to forget how fragile this all was. Every glowing cell, a miracle of balance. Each one surviving just long enough to pass its pattern onward. Some would perish, others would endure, the stronger, the brighter. The ones who learned to glow more efficiently would pass their chemistry forward, until light became part of life's language. Billions of years later, that same language would write itself into fireflies, into lanternfish drifting through midnight seas, into the shimmering trails of plankton that still light up tropical waves. Even now, when you walk along a moonless beach and see the ocean sparkle beneath your feet, you are witnessing the memory of that first light. The same reaction, the same miracle, still alive, still speaking. Some scientists believe that this light was more than beauty. It was survival. In the endless dark of the early oceans, bioluminescence may have been the first form of communication, a way to attract or defend, to recognize or confuse, to find companionship in the vast silence. Imagine, before voices, before eyes, before thought itself, the world was already whispering in light. And perhaps, as you breathe slowly now, in the quiet dark of your own room, you can feel that echo deep inside you, because your body, too, carries remnants of that ancient chemistry, tiny sparks within your cells that power thought, movement, warmth. You don't glow like plankton, but your neurons flash with their own light, microscopic, electric, each impulse a photon of memory and emotion. You are glowing all the time, even if the light is invisible. Close your eyes and picture it, your mind like a deep ocean, thoughts drifting like plankton, tiny luminous signals rising and fading, your breath the current, your heartbeat the tide, and somewhere within, the same gentle radiance that began in the sea, still alive, still pulsing. The suspense of this quiet revelation builds slowly, because in this dark ocean of beginnings, life is learning something even more extraordinary: how to harness the energy of the sun, how to turn light into food, and food into growth. Photosynthesis is about to be born, and with it, a revolution that will change everything. For now, the glow of bioluminescence remains the only light below the waves, a secret shimmer in the dark, but in shallow pools nearer to the sun. Some organisms begin to experiment with sunlight, absorbing photons instead of creating them, and the world begins to turn green. The oceans breathe deeper. The air fills slowly with oxygen, and for the first time, the planet begins to glow in daylight too. The stage is set. The quiet sparks of the deep will soon be joined by the golden breath of the sky. From darkness into dawn, from blue light to green life, the story of existence continues. Did you know that every breath you take now is made possible by those first luminous lives? By the plankton that learned to glow, then learned to capture sunlight and fill the air with oxygen. Every flame, every star you've ever seen reflected in a wave owes its shimmer to the memory of that first spark. So, as you drift deeper into rest, remember this: you come from light. Not just starlight, but living light. You are the continuation of that cosmic experiment. A being of fire, chemistry, and memory. You carry inside you the echo of oceans that once shimmered beneath alien skies. You are made of what once dared to glow in darkness. Now, let that image fade. The glowing waves, the dancing plankton, the sleeping planet turning slowly beneath a silver moon. The light dims softly, the currents quiet, and all that remains is a feeling, warm, timeless, infinite, the peace of knowing you are part of something that never truly ends. Soon we will rise toward that daylight, where the first green worlds bloom and life begins to reach for the sun. But for now, rest in the deep, where the first light still flickers, where the world still glows beneath your dreams, and where silence itself shines. Have you ever wondered what the world's first morning looked like? Not just another sunrise, but the sunrise, the one where the planet, for the first time in its long, silent history, took a deep breath and exhaled life. The oceans had been glowing quietly in the dark, pulsing with blue light from creatures that had never seen the sky. The world below was alive, but blind, content to exist in shadow. Then, one day, or perhaps over 1,000,000 gentle dawns, something changed. A few simple organisms began to climb toward the surface. Where sunlight danced upon the waves, they reached upward, not with arms, but with hunger. They touched light, and in that touch, they learned a secret that would transform the planet forever. Picture yourself floating just beneath the surface of an ancient sea. The water around you glows faintly green. Threads of microscopic life drift and sway in slow motion. Each one a tiny engine, a cell that has just learned to eat light. They capture the sun's energy, store it, and release something entirely new: oxygen. Invisible, silent, but world-changing at first. It was only a trickle, a whisper in the endless water. But slowly, quietly, it built, like breath-filling lungs that had never existed before. The oceans exhaled, and the air began to change. It would take billions of years, but this was the moment the sky began to turn blue. Did you know that before photosynthesis, Earth's atmosphere was tinted orange and violet, thick with methane and carbon dioxide, no air to breathe, no ozone to shield? The planet was beautiful, but deadly, a glowing sphere of poison and possibility. And yet, the tiniest of beings began to undo all of that, cell by cell, breath by breath. These were cyanobacteria, the first architects of air, the first green dreamers, drifting in colonies. They painted the ocean with their color, a faint jade shimmer spreading across the surface. No one watched them, no one guided them. They simply did what life always does. They grew, they multiplied, and they changed everything over millions of years. The oxygen they released began to build up. At first, it reacted with the planet's rocks, rusting iron into crimson bands beneath the sea. If you could walk the ocean floor back then, you'd see iron mountains turning red. The world oxidizing, literally breathing. Then, when the rocks could absorb no more, the oxygen began to spill upward into the air, turning the sky from murky violet to soft blue, and for the first time, sunlight touched a breathable world. But always there, like the soft rise and fall of your breath as you lie in the dark. There's something poetic in that the same stillness that helps you fall asleep, the slow rhythm of your own breathing, is mirrored in the motion of the universe itself. You inhale, and the universe expands. You exhale, and it continues, steady, patient, infinite. If you could float in the void between galaxies, far from any light or sound, you might sense it, the faint hum of cosmic expansion. Not something your ears could hear, but something your mind could feel. Like the pulse of existence itself, a reminder that even in silence, the universe is alive, always growing, always becoming. And yet, this story carries a whisper of suspense, because if the universe keeps expanding, if galaxies continue to drift apart faster and faster, then one day, billions of years from now, the sky will grow empty. The stars of distant galaxies will fade beyond the horizon of visibility. The cosmic web will stretch thin, and the night sky, once glittering with thousands of stars, will grow dark. A silence deeper than any we can imagine will settle across creation. But perhaps that is not tragedy. Perhaps it is simply the universe returning to rest. Just as your mind returns to stillness each night, just as your thoughts drift apart and dissolve into dreams, the expansion, in that sense, is not destruction, it is rest. The cosmos, after all, its work, slowly exhaling, and if you listen closely, in this quiet moment, you might realize that you, too, are part of that rhythm. Your heartbeat echoes the pulse of galaxies. Your breath mirrors the stretch of space. The atoms in your lungs are older than stars. once compressed in the heart of the Big Bang itself. You are, in every sense, the universe breathing itself into awareness. Now, as you breathe in, imagine the galaxies floating gently away, and as you breathe out, imagine the space between them widening softly, slowly, endlessly, each expansion, each drift, a quiet sigh of the cosmos, reminding you that there is no rush, no need to hold on. Everything is moving, everything is flowing, the universe expands, and yet nothing truly leaves, because space itself is the connection. Every particle still bound by the same origin, every star still echoing that first breath. So, as you rest now, let yourself feel that connection, the slow, soothing rhythm of existence, expanding, breathing, becoming, and as we drift onward, beyond this chapter of cosmic breath, we'll begin to explore the next great mystery, what lies at the edge of all this expansion, when time and gravity meet again in perfect stillness, where perhaps the universe will one day take its next breath. For now, close your eyes. Let your breath follow the rhythm of the stars. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, peace. You are floating, you are infinite, and the universe is breathing with you. In the stillness of endless night, where everything began and everything continues forever.